How do? Just making a template, lots to do, so we're just going to crack on. Come on. So firstly, we're just going to sort out the F holes for the top. We've got our template that's marked up for centerline round the edge, so it's going to be the same both sides. So firstly, just mark that off. Now to start cutting these out, I'm going to sort the circles out first because that's the easy bit. So pilot hole and then step bits to work through really gently. You won't get massive tear out and everything else. These are absolutely brilliant. If you don't have a set of step bits, get some. Next step is to use one of these, put the saw through the hole and then very carefully cut close to the pencil line. Try and keep the pencil line on, don't cut up to it and including it, get that with files later. Rough cut out, which is absolutely fine. So now we're going to go in with a lot of these different little needle files, just a cheap set will do. We've got half rounds, completely rounds, triangulars, all kinds of stuff. So we can neaten ourselves up, get rid of the rough edges, get into the corners, make it neat and tidy. And then I'll show you a little trick to make it look even finer and more precise. Now, top trick, to make that look a little bit more elegant, what we're going to do is thin the edging of the wood. So it's already fairly thin from when we hollowed it out. But what we're going to do is go through the back side and just either, again with a file or an incredibly sharp chisel, is just to thin the very edge of that down so that it looks thinner from the outside without it being perilously thin that it just collapses and falls to pieces. You can see that side looks really thin, very classy. That side not so much yet. That the F-holes are done. Now if you're thinking that the edges of your F-holes are going to be just a little bit too delicate as we've cut them really thin, what you can do is just put a little bit of wood glue just around the edge, trying not to get it over the edge, but yeah, a little bit of wood glue, allowing that to soak in, will just stiffen up those edges a little bit without hopefully getting in the way of finish on the outside. And there we go. So with the F-holes complete, it's now time to fit the Piezo pickup system. So this is quite a nice little cute kit. It comes with a volume and tone dial that goes on the side of the guitar somewhere, and then the Piezo section is that needs to go under the bridge, and then it comes pre-wired to have the jack socket go out somewhere else. So it's just trying to figure out exactly where we want those and put in the correct holes in the sides to do that. I'm going to leave the Piezo hole for a little bit longer though. So I'm thinking probably on that bit to sink down to there, obviously. So it'd be that kind of height. But I'm thinking there would probably be the best place for it. And that's almost the same thickness as the maple width. So this overlaps. What am I going to do with that? Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut the maple section out where that's going to fit in. That will bend around there underneath. Ooh, scary, but okay, let's do that. Well, that's handy. So when that's screwed down and in place, the piezo can come through and sit there, or actually underneath there on the other side. The jack cable can come through to here. So this is the next issue. The threads for that jack cable aren't quite long enough, so I need to recess this middle section so that that pokes out just enough to get the threads on the other side. Just look how cute that is with a neck in. It's not glued in, I've just pushed it in because I now need to mark off exactly where the scale length is so we know where the bridge is going to go. So I can do the scary thing and drill the hole through here for the piezo mic. So what I'm going to do is mark off where the bridge needs to be, which is 406.4 millimeters. And I'm going to do that with the trusty masking tape. 406 is there. Okay, so 406 is there. That is where it needs to be. Okay. This is my bridge, not quite finished yet. Can you see on here we've marked off that little cut out strip in the middle that's going to be dug out is going to fit the actual bone nut bridge bit. So the wire is going to go into there. So this piezo bit is going to sit inside that slot like that, which means this wire is going to poke out the bottom of here and then through the bottom of here. So the cable from here will be poking out the bottom of this on this side. It's going to be there. Is that accurate enough? That gives me a bit of play without exposing that hole. Okay. I'm going to be really brave and just drill a hole there that's just big enough, because this is a detachable cable. It's going to be just big enough to fit that through, so it can go through there while that bit sits in there. Yes, I am completely making this up as I go along. I've not done this kind of piezo with an independent bridge stuff before, so I'm just winging it. What's the matter with that? Pray for me, folks. I'm drilling a hole in the front. It's not scary. It really is. Ah! No, done it now. Can't see a hole. Can't see a hole. Can't see a hole. Can't see a hole. Yeah. Okay, so before I attach that piezo system, which I want to do before I glue the back on because it's just going to be easier, isn't it? I'm going to need to sand around the edges because they're a bit rough at the moment. Let me show you my super cheap sanding rig. Ta-da! Clamp down a belt sander sideways on, stick a chunk of waste stuff at 90 degrees, place that on there, get it going, wander around. On the internal curves like this, you can get around the edges and do it on there. It works, it's cheap, let's do it. But I'm not going to show you me sanding a load of edging because, well, that's mind-numbingly boring. And I'm going to let you into a little secret. It's currently 1:45 on a Sunday afternoon. I would like this video that you're watching now to be released at 2 o'clock this Sunday afternoon. So I'll just crack on. You watch this video here. Yeah, you watch this one, and I'll see you here and next week. All right, let's.